Welcome back. In this tutorial, I want to show you the clear difference between relative and absolute cell references. Before we start, let me create some borderlines for this. Okay. Now I'm going to use what we have here to explain the relative and absolute cell references to you properly. Okay. Now let's look at this. For this item, that is TV, okay, the price of one is 3,840 Ghana cedis. Now the quantity purchased was 3. Now to know the total that will be paid for that TV, it should be what? It should be the price of the TV times the quantity, isn't it? So how do we do that? Let's enter equals. Then we click on the price. Then we enter multiplication. To get multiplication, you click on the shift key and 8, okay, on your keyboard. You get multiplication. It comes as a star, okay. Then we click on the quantity. Remember I taught you how to name cells or how to refer to cells. This particular cell here is at column B and it's at row 2. So that's why it is called cell B2. And this particular one is at column C, row 2. So that's why it is called column C2. So when I hit on enter, I'll get the answer for the 3,840 times 3, okay, which is 11,520 Ghana cedis. Now when I click on the cell, you can see the formula used for it in the formula bar at the top here. You see that? You can see the formula in the formula bar. Now, when we go to the second one, we are supposed to enter here equals B3 times C3, isn't it? And then when we go to this also, we do same, equals B4 times C4. But instead of us doing that individually, we can actually copy the formula of the first one and paste it for the rest. So we are going to use the autofill method to do that. Now let's do that and see what will happen. Okay. Now to do it, let me click here first. To do it, you are going to click on that particular cell where you want to copy the formula from. Okay, we want to copy formula from here. So we click on it just once, not twice. Okay. Then you come to the down right corner here. You see, initially the plus cursor was white, right? But when I come to the down right corner, it turns to black. Then you left click, hold on it and drag to the last. When you do that, the formula will be copied for the others. Let's inspect them one after the other and see. The first one was B2 times C2, isn't it? Let's click on the second one and check the formula bar. You see that it has changed to B3 times C3, isn't it? Then the third one is B4 times C4. The reason B2 and C2 were able to change to B3 and C3 when we copy them to the next one, and also change to B4 and C4 when copied to the next one, is because they are relative references. Now, let's go to the discount side and see something. Now, let's say we are giving discount, okay. Now, we've written the discount rate down here. So, the discount rate is 5%. Now, if you want to calculate the discount for the TV, the discount should be the total times the discount rate, isn't it? Or the discount rate times the total. You know, multiplication is commutative. A times B is the same as B times A. So, to do that, pay attention. We enter equals. Then let's click on the total for the TV. Then we do it times. Then let's click on the discount rate, which is this, 5% here. Now, when we hit on enter key, we'll get the answer for this, right? Now, in the second cell, we would like to do the same thing we did in the first cell, isn't it? By taking this total, 39,000, times this discount rate, isn't it? Now, we can do so by copying the formula from the first one and autofill for the rest, just as we did when we were doing the total. But let's do that and see what will happen. Let's click on this. Then we come to the down right corner. Then we left click, hold and drag to the last. What happened? We have dash, 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 dash throughout. Okay, it failed to do the calculation. And we are going to see the reason for that. For the first one, it was D2 times A11, which is where the discount rate was, isn't it? Now when we go to the second one, it changes alright to D3, which is what we want, what we actually wanted, D3, right? But this particular cell has changed to A12. So there's nothing at A12. Have you seen that? That is why it failed to do the calculation. It put dash over there. The actual thing is that we want to constantly refer to A11. We don't want any change to the discount rate. Okay, we want to constantly refer to A11. That is, here we should have D2 times A11. Here too we should have D3 times A11, D4 times A11, D5 times A11, D6 times A11, D7 times A11, D8 times A11. How do we do that? To constantly refer to cell A11. And it should be such that we can copy and autofill for the rest. So let's see how to do that. So we go back to the first one. Now let's double click so that we can see the formula and do some editing. So we double click. Now what did we use for it? We used D2 times A11, isn't it? Now what we are going to do is that this A11, we are going to make it absolute. Now let's see how to make it absolute. To make it absolute, you come before the A, okay? You put a dollar sign there, then you come after the A, that is before 11. You put dollar sign there also to make it absolute. To get the dollar, you use shift plus 4, okay? But there's another way of making it absolute. To do that, you click on the F4 key on your keyboard. Now when you click on F4, it will introduce the dollar sign for the A and the 11 together, okay? Now let's hit enter. When we hit on enter, the answer still remains as it was before, isn't it? Now let's click on that first cell back and then let's copy for the rest. So we come to the down here, hold and drag to the last. You see that this time around the others are giving us answers, isn't it? Now let's inspect them. The first one is D2 times A11, right? And we made the A11 absolute by introducing the dollar sign. Now let's go to the second one and see what is there. So let's click on the second one. Now what can you see? You see that the D2, the previous one was D2, right? And then when you come to the new one, D2 has changed to D3, but the A11 didn't change because we are constantly referring to this cell A11 by introducing dollar sign to make it absolute. When you introduce dollar sign to make something absolute, when you copy it to another cell, it will not change. Okay, let's go to the next one. D3 has changed to D4, have you seen? But the A11 remains the same. When we go to the next one also, you see D5 times A11, D6 times A11, D7 times A11, D8 times A11. You see that? Interesting, right? Now, there are some situations where, look at the A11. There are some situations where the A will not take a dollar sign, but the 11 will take a dollar sign. Or only the A will take a dollar sign, but 11 will not. Okay? But we'll look at such situation in another tutorial, okay? In this tutorial, I just want you to get a basic idea of relative and absolute cell references. Okay, so you've seen how we apply the relative cell reference and how we apply the absolute cell reference. It is interesting, right? Yeah. So I'll end this here for now. Thank you.